Hello everyone, welcome. I get a lot of queries what is really correspondence chess. Now, it's our pleasure that today we have AIWCF President Dr. Chatterjee. Let's welcome Dr. Chatterjee. He will help us to answer your queries and what is really correspondence chess about. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Rakesh. And I'm happy to answer any question you have about correspondence chess. It's a real pleasure to have this recording done by you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It's our pleasure that you could get your time and present here. So the first question is, many people ask, what is really correspondence chess about?
Yes, Rakesh, I am happy to answer you. So correspondence chess is actually a way in which we play the game of chess by some method of long distance communication. Conventionally, chess can be played over the board, but when you want to play with an opponent who is not with you, not physically present with you, that is correspondence chess. Correspondence chess in the early days used to be played by postcard. That is how it started. Now, these are the old days when email and today's method server, these were not available to the world. So postcard is the earliest form of correspondence chess. I have shown you here in the screen how a typical postcard looks like. So we used to write to each other in those old days, and we used to write our move on it and send it across, and the opponent would read the postcard and then he would reply move by move on the postcard. Well, then once email started, then email became an alternative to sending postcards. So it was useful for chess also. And we began to play correspondence chess via email. This was also quite popular. It lasted only a short time because after that, very soon, the availability of more powerful method of communication, namely the server, became available. It was, of course, a question of developing the software for it. So in that case, there was some time taken for that purpose. But otherwise, email gave way to the server. So here on the right, I have shown you a picture of India's only Grandmaster GM PV Danish, who is a correspondence chess Grandmaster from India. And he's shown how he's looking at his computer with his position there on the screen. So correspondence chess, which is played on the server, is like this, that you log into the server and then you see all the positions of your games on it. And then you can select the game in which you are interested, and you can play your move somewhat similar way like how we do in online chess. But the big difference is that you send only one move at a time, and then you go offline, and you can spend, it's a more relaxed and a different form of chess. That's it for a short introduction to correspondence chess.
Thank you, sir. One thing I'm sure many people will be feeling very nostalgic when they see this postcard. Like it's old thing, and I can see the date 1982. So it's a very old, you can say, system of playing.
Yes, in fact, there were so many reminiscences of those days. Some of us who played in that era, even for historical purposes, have preserved their postcards. Even yeah, so this is the way that all communication was done. You know, it's not just only correspondence chess, but when you want to talk to your friend, since telephones were expensive in those days, particularly long distance telephone calls was not. So youngsters tend to forget how communication has changed. The shape of communication has changed completely. So this is now only of academic interest or historical interest, I should say, that we could communicate. But the basic idea remains the same, that you communicate your move to your opponent. You don't sit with him on the board. You don't sit across the board with your opponent. Instead, you communicate your move to him. And that's the essence of correspondence chess.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the second question many people ask is how this correspondence chess is really different from online chess or OTP or over the board chess.
Actually, the real chess is, of course, over-the-board chess. And for those of you who have recently learned chess or are beginners in chess, then you shouldn't forget the OTP game. That's your primary focus always. However, if you look at chess itself first, not even the over the board game, then you will realize that over the board chess, which is also called OTB chess, it promotes a study, it promotes discipline, mental alertness, reasoning ability, all these things. In fact, for players who get involved in the game, chess becomes not a game, it becomes a way of life. I've lived with this way of life, so I know how it is. One doesn't really, you don't get over, just it's not just you go out, you play a game of tennis, you come home, that is fine. But chess is a way of life. Now, the thing about OTB chess is when you get involved in chess as a game, as a hobby, as a passion, you find that it's difficult always to make an opponent available to you. It was different from me when I was growing up because my brother was there and we used to play a lot together. So the availability of opponent was more accessible. But apart from that, when you wanted to have a more range of opponents and you wanted to have a chance to play with other people, the opponent availability is a question in OTP chess. The other factor about OTP chess is that if you are playing seriously, not just a quick game which you can rattle off, but if you are playing and you would like to go deeply into it, then a serious game of chess with an opponent, it takes a very long time. So that kind of time you don't have available to you all the in one go. So you don't always have that much of time available. And if you are a serious chess player, then you are playing in over-the-board tournaments. These tournaments will require you to play outside. And you may even have to play not only outside the home, it may be outstation, it may be in a different location. So you may have to take leave from your job, your studies if you're a student. And then you have to stay outstation for some arrange your accommodation and you have to stay there and play. So I've done that all throughout my chess career. I've done so much of it. But you can't always do that, right? So that's why over-the-board game has this problem. Still, this is the way I actually played throughout my school, throughout my college life, and throughout my working life, and almost till recently, I have played over-the-board chess, and this is the way in which we play over-the-board chess. But as an example, I played correspondence chess. I started playing correspondence chess at the age of 12. Nowadays, people start, even we have members whose age is 4 or 5 years of age. So I played correspondence chess in parallel with the OTB activities. So correspondence chess was something which was going on all the time. It doesn't detract you from your other activities. We'll come to that later on. So you can play correspondence chess and it can go on in parallel with your OTB activities. Whereas if you look at online chess, now online chess also became possible only with the server. So once we had internet and once we had servers, then it became possible for us to play chess over the internet, and that's called online chess. So that's right from the 1980s, various sites began. And gradually, these sites became better and better. So today, if you look at what you have on Chess or on chess.com, these are quite polished interfaces and they are easy to use. The advantage here is that you can play from your home. You don't have to, you can even play while traveling, you can play anywhere. And the main thing is that you are playing in your own time slot. So whenever you have time, time you can play. It can sharpen and improve your play. So all the benefits of chess, which I explained for OTP, that's applicable for online chess. Also, you learn logic and you enjoy the game. You can experiment with different openings. and you can enjoy the game. But this remains true that the time requirement is for a serious game. You can play the fast game. That's quite popular when you play online, is to play a quick game when you have less time available. But for a serious game, you won't have always available to you in one shot to play for 2 hours to play, where each player has 1 hour handling time from each side. That kind of game, if you want to play, then you need to find time for it. So that's one of the only drawbacks of online chess. On the other hand, if you look at correspondence chess, then the real difference is that correspondence chess is not played in real time. So when you are playing, you just send your move. The opponent is not available at that time. It's no, you don't come face to face with the opponent, neither over the board nor over the internet. So there is no physical contact with the opponent at all. It's played offline. And the various formats which are available in correspondence chess gives you several days to reply. So you don't have to think what are you doing. You don't have to adjust your life or find specific time for correspondence chess. It can be anytime when you get free time to look at your positions and reply. So when you look at how a typical person manages his life, we have time. If you're a student, then studies is your main time which you need to reserve. And for those of us who are in working life, the office timings, many people work who have work timings which are different. Also, are there? It's not necessarily a fixed time that you have office hours. And then there is family. So the family life also takes precedence. And if there are events in the family, then these take precedence, which would cut out time for you to play. Chess is an absorbing game, and it requires a lot of time. So that's why these are the advantages. And moreover, in correspondence chess, you still get a lot of time for your other hobbies. Like I am passionate about so many things other than chess. So you could perform, you could go ahead with those things, and those other hobbies might have specific timings. Like if you are a member of a club where there is a game of table tennis which you're playing, and that has got a specific time, so you can go for that, because correspondence chess is not played in any specific time slot. So you can adjust your correspondence chess timings. It could be late at night, it could be early in the morning that you devote to correspondence chess. It need not be every day. You can log in once in a way, whenever you. So these are the flexibilities. And notice how this takes care of events, so that for the student, when the examinations come, that has the maximum priority. In a work life also, there are many crises in the office work. There are situations in the office work where you have to devote your energy and time completely to the office work, and you cannot devote time to chess. This applies to your family matters. So you might have to concentrate on some family matters. You might yourself be ill. So an illness, either your own or a family illness, these are the things which can take time away from you. You could also have an over-the-board event in which you are playing. So if an over-the-board event is going on, your correspondence chess can go along parallelly with that without any problem. So that's the beauty of correspondence chess. In fact, you can, if you are traveling on work or on holiday, you could even play while outstation without any problem, because the only requirement is connectivity, and that's quite easy nowadays. So if you have connectivity, you could play during the time when you're away from home as well. So that's one way. And moreover, if you think that there's going to be a long gap in which you can't play correspondence chess, then the facility exists in all the servers that you can take leave from correspondence chess for a certain amount of time, and you can get back to it after your time is available again. So that great flexibility is there in correspondence chess. And in correspondence chess, we have another thing that we have both the types, engine allowed as well as engine forbidden. So when you play online, there's always this situation which we are all talking about nowadays quite a lot, that which is considered as cheating. That means the opponent is actually consulting an engine. This is a matter of concern. But in correspondence chess, we have both the types of games. In fact, in the engine allowed game, you are not only allowed to consult, you are supposed to consult the engine and find out the best move with the help of the engine. And in the engine forbidden games, you are not supposed to consult the engine at all. So both the things are available in correspondence chess. And that promotes different types of knowledge which you can acquire, and different types of games and playing styles. These are the advantages you get by correspondence chess. So it really is a chance for you to become more versatile as a player. And then you can change, you can try different openings, you can try different playing styles to see where you are comfortable. And as I said earlier, you can play side by side with the over the board game. And you can play even online chess, over the board, and correspondence chess, all the three. You can do all of these activities. It all depends upon the time which is available to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure this will help a lot of people to get clarity between OTB, online chess, and correspondence chess. And what I can understand from this is that the biggest advantage the correspondence chess is that you don't have to commit in particular time slot. You can play whenever you want. I think that is what my big takeaway, right, sir?
Yes, I think in short one sentence, one can summarize it as the main part of correspondence chess. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Our next question is, can you give some overview about AIWCF, how it's formed, and the history and about AIWCF?
AIWCF, it was actually, when it started, it was called AICCF, All India Correspondence Chess Federation. It's only later on that we changed the name to All India Web Chess Federation. And AIWCF was started in 1993. In fact, correspondence chess in India existed prior to that also in a different organization. But AIWCF was started in 1993. And the steps AICCF at that time took is that we got affiliated to the International Correspondence Chess Federation. It's called ICCF. And then event-wise, the postcards, they gave away and time came to adopt email. So AIWCF, that time it was AICCF. We began to play by email also around 1990 onwards. The ICCF then, where the similar things were going on, ICCF is the International Correspondence Chess Federation, where people are playing from all over the world. They were also going through the same situation, that is earlier on, they used to play by postcard and then they went over to playing by email. And in 2007, the ICCF created their own server. Before that, other servers were available, but ICCF began their server in 2007. We followed suit. AIWCF started its own server in 2009. We are one of the very few countries in the world which have their own correspondence chess server. The other countries, generally, they play on the ICCF server. They don't have their own server. The only other country initially which used to have their own server was Germany, but they too stopped. And of late, there are very few countries, to my knowledge, nobody else who actually runs a server in their own country specifically for their own country. And the other difference between AIWCF and ICCF is that in AIWCF, we have both engine allowed and the engine forbidden type of game. In ICCF, there is only the engine allowed. They do not have the engine forbidden section, whereas we have both. So this is one part about correspondence chess in AIWCF that you need to know. Regarding the how the game is played and so on, which you may be interested to know, is that so it's a website. Our website link is given over here where you can connect, and there you have to first process is to log in. This you can do after you have joined. So the process of joining will be explained later on. But basically, it involves filling up a form, online form, and then you can join. And membership fees are also very small. So one can join, and then you get access to a login. And once you have created your login, the next step is that you log in. And once you log in, you will see a list of your games where there is an ongoing game. So the screen is split into two parts. The first upper part shows the games which are waiting for your move. So you logged in, I can see my opponent 1 has played 27th move A3, and 2 days have elapsed and I have yet to reply. So I know that on the other hand, I have got 78 days before my time control. So I have a lot of time available to me for thinking purpose, and only 2 days are elapsed. So this is the thing about correspondence chess, that the thinking time is in days. It's not something which you need to worry about minutes or seconds, which are hanging on your clock.
It's
But
amazing.
yeah, so it's a more relaxed way. There are time scrambles in correspondence chess, but those time scrambles are time in days. Not unless you've killed yourself where now you have only 1 second left to reply, which generally doesn't happen. So you have to manage your time in correspondence chess too, but it's much more relaxed. So the top half gives you this thing. So my second opponent, he has played on the 24th move as black, the move b5, and now only 8 hours have elapsed since then. So I can have a look at the screen, and then I can decide whether I want to play the move today or tomorrow and when. It's up to me. And for doing that, I just have to click that game here on the screen. And just so that I am reminded, it shows also at the bottom of the screen that there are other games going on. So I have shown opponent 3, 4, 5, and 6. So these players they are waiting for the opponent to reply. So the opponent has not yet got back to me. The opponent is waiting. For example, opponent 5 is thinking for the last 8 days. And I have sent him my move, 22nd move, bishop to e7 black. But the opponent is thinking for the past 8 days, and he too has got plenty of time. It shows here 48 days time that he has got. And then I was telling you earlier about leave. So my opponent 3 has taken leave. In this case, the date showing here is that he is going to be on leave up to 15th of April. So this was not today that the screen was captured. So he has got time. He has taken leave. So he will reply only when he comes back. Now he could have taken leave for various reasons. It could be that he was busy at work, or he was traveling, or he had some illness or some family matter, or it could be that he simply wanted to take a long time to think about his move. And the amount of time available to him, although he had 87 days, but on situations where you don't have 87 days, but you have less time and you want to think over a complicated move for many days, you might even take leave for that purpose.
Very informative. So very informative, very simple. Means I can see very simple screen, but all the information a person needs to make a decision which game he should play now or which game later. It's very nice.
So I think you'll see that we have worked a lot on our software end. The screens are all polished to perfection after taking the feedback also from our friends. So we are trying to see that there is minimum information, but only useful information. There is no clutter.
Yes.
So you would see from other servers that they put many things, including ads. We don't have advertisements on our server at all.
Very nice.
is important. And we don't try to confuse you by providing information that you don't need to see on this screen. You can get that information by clicking and reaching those other screens. They are all available. But we don't want to confuse you with too much information on a single screen.
Very
Passing
interesting.
on. Yes.
Please continue.
Now, this is how the screen would look. You see, from this screen, you click one of the games. In this case, I have got two opponents, opponent 1 and 2. If I click one of them, then the screen I get shows the position. So it shows the opponent's photo on the top left. I masked it off in this case. So the opponent's photo would show up on the top left of the screen. You would see the position on the board. This would be on a graphical screen. The moves in the game would be shown in a block which is at the top right of the screen. And another part about correspondence chess which I didn't emphasize is that it promotes also friendship. So you could be playing against an opponent from a very different part of India, or it could be an opponent which is from a different part of the world. And you might like to exchange some news, information. You could talk on other topics. You could talk about other hobbies which you have. You could talk about your office work, your student life. There are various things which, conversation is possible. So you get a chance to chat with the opponent. So while sending your move, you simply write. For example, here I have shown you that I was playing in an OTB Blitz tournament, which was taking place in our city, and it got concluded, and I scored a modest 5.5 out of 8 points in that. I wanted to tell my opponent about my chance to play there. And at the same time, the graphical board has come up. So now all you have to do is to move the piece on it. If it's a touch screen, then you can just drag it with that, or with your mouse, you can move the piece over. Similar to online chess, you can make your move. It shows in the white box, which is below next to the undo button, the move you have played. Now, unlike over-the-board chess, and completely unlike online chess, you can there is till you finalize, you can even play the move, and if it's been played by mistake, you can take it back by undo and make the move again. So this is, of course, once it is dispatched, then you won't be able to take the move back. So on this screen, you have a chance to correct any error due to an accidental slip of the mouse or any such thing. So we are not interested in errors. We want the real chess to be played here. So here you can make your move, and then you can press submit. After you press submit, then the position shows again with the move that you have made, and they will be at the bottom of the screen, the cancel and the confirm buttons. So you again get a chance to cancel. So if a move which you didn't intend has appeared on the screen, you can still cancel it. On the other hand, another feature is that you can also make conditional moves. Now, conditional moves is basically a time-saving device in correspondence chess, where if the opponent is, you can anticipate the opponent's move. You can think that, okay, so suppose after I have made my move, suppose he wants to play knight to a3, then I find that the next few moves are looking, almost like forced. So I can as well suggest it. And these moves will be hidden. That means the opponent will not know that you have offered these moves to him. So he will not know. Only thing is that if he plays knight a3, then the server will put your move rook c to c8 automatically, and the game will proceed to the next step. So the game advances, and without any effort from your side. So this is another. And in our server, unlike the ICCF server, we allow you to suggest multiple conditional moves. Even branching is possible. You can have situations where I've shown an example here that if he plays knight a3, then this is what I suggested, two additional moves. And if he plays the bishop to b6, which you actually see on the board, because the move has been made by clicking the mouse on it, then I would like to play the move d5. So you see that position on the board actually. So I have offered that conditional move here on the graphical board. So you can suggest several lines, and on the other hand, you may not suggest any line at all. So this is depends on the position and depends upon the mood at that time. And then eventually you have to click the confirm button. So when you click the confirm button, then that's absolutely the last step, because then not only your move, but also all the conditional moves which you have thought about, all of these will be transmitted to the server. And once that happens, you will not be able to undo this action. So whatever you saw prior to this, there was no server involvement in that. It was simply a GUI which you were facing and preparing the moves on that. But the transmission of the move to the server was not taking place. The transmission of the move, it's like in a WhatsApp, you have typed a message, but you haven't yet clicked the send. So the message is typed and you have a chance to revise that message. But once you click the send, it goes. But unlike WhatsApp, here you have no way to delete. In WhatsApp, you can still delete the message, but here not. So here, once you have clicked the final confirmation button, then your move is committed to the server, and you cannot take it back. There's also the possibility, excuse me, there's also the possibility that you might like to play your moves on a mobile device. So, when you're traveling, even otherwise, nowadays mobile phones have got a lot of popularity, and many people don't feel always comfortable to take out a large device like a laptop. So they would like to play from a mobile phone. So this is a question that we get often from people, that I would like to play from my mobile phone. Is it possible? Actually, yes. So there are two ways you can play on a mobile phone. The easiest way is the same which I showed earlier, because all our screens are arranged to be friendly on mobile phones. So if you would like to open our website on the mobile phone, you can comfortably play the moves by touch screen on the mobile device without any problem at all. On the other hand, if you are looking for an app so that you can play from an app, then that too is available. This app is developed by Mr. Sin Pereira, who is from Bangalore, and he makes this available to you. So it's available on the Aptoid store. So it's not available on Google Play, but it's available on the Aptoid store, which is another alternative to Google Play. So you can easily install Aptoid, and then from the store which appears, you can download this Android version. If you are on an iPhone or an iPad, then you can go to the Apple store and you will find this app is available. So this app, which I would like to call a third-party app, although Sim Pereira is also our member, but he has developed this independently, and so I call it a third-party app. It supports both our federation, AIWCF, as well as ICCF. So both the sites are supported, and you can play correspondence chess comfortably from your phone also.
Very informative, sir. The two things I like really very much. First of all, conditional moves. Really, it's amazing. The second thing is, the more importantly, it's not just playing chess. There's a message box. People can interact. People can discuss. People can share their day-to-day things. Superb, sir. This is like, it's not only that people are just playing and just like it's a monotonous chess. They're also trying to interact, and it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, Rakesh.
Sir, our next question is, many of my students, especially math students, science students, they ask me one thing. Does this corporate chess any relationship with maths or physics or science?
Well, Rakesh, I'm really glad that you asked this question. I have a lot to say on the topic, but in a short interview, perhaps I won't be able to share all my thoughts. I am basically a physics person, so I am a scientist, and I've been working with physics is my work life for several years. So I will perhaps answer more from physics point of view, but I will definitely tell you that there's a lot of connection between the game of chess in general with logical thought and reasoning. And this promotes your growth in all the subjects which involve logic in their work in that topic. So now looking at mathematics, see, maths is perhaps the greatest beauty of subjects which is entirely logic based. Perhaps physics comes a close second. But if you talk about pure logic, then again, software development, I would like to bring up that also as another area where logical thinking is one of the primary requirements. So I think a player who starts learning chess can benefit a lot in his profession if his profession is connected with mathematics, physics, or with software development. All the more if it is correspondence chess, because you see, with over the board, if your professional life is not giving you a lot of time, then you have to fall back, and falling back to correspondence chess, because correspondence chess is very intensive logical thought compared to even online chess, where you would be playing a game and then forgetting about it. But in case of correspondence chess, the games stay with you, all the mistakes you made, all the learning you had, all the logic that you applied to come across and will stay with you forever. So that's why I think correspondence chess is even more important to a person who needs logical thought in his day-to-day life and in his professional life. So there's another part which I didn't put up on the slide. There are some bad days where, in your professional life that you haven't been able to. For me, I was a physicist, and there were some days in which my physics work was not very successful on that day. I was missing some idea or link, and I couldn't apply it to the problem at hand. So I am basically a research physicist by profession, and we have to work a lot on experiments as well as their understanding. And there are cases where you get stuck and you don't think that you can make further progress, and you are wondering what to do. This has happened to me a lot. And at that time, what I did is I took my mind off from that problem and applied it to a different problem of correspondence chess. And it sharpened my mind to such an extent that I could go back to my unknown problem with new energy. And many times I could find solutions to problems where I was getting stuck for a long time. This is true of many famous people who have gone through this. I know, and I'm going to mention only one. There are many. Dirac is, for example, another mathematician and physicist for whom chess was very important. But among famous physicists who have played chess now, they should have tried correspondence chess, but they actually, this example is for the over-the-board game. Albert Einstein was actually a friend of Dr. Immanuel Lasker. Now, Immanuel Lasker is a world champion in over-the-board chess, a very famous person whom, as chess players, all of you know. And Albert Einstein is a household word, so I think both the names are familiar to you. So Einstein was a physicist, and Lasker, in his work life, was a mathematician. In fact, other people whose names come to mind are Dirac, Roger Penrose. See, Roger Penrose, who was a very famous in theoretical astrophysics, is actually the brother of Jonathan Penrose. Now, Jonathan Penrose is a very famous British player, whom some of you may be familiar. He's a British grandmaster and very well known in chess. They are related. So Roger Penrose rose to become prominent in his field, but they continued to play chess, while his brother became an international master and grandmaster in Britain. Stephen Hawking, you know, and Stephen Hawking has played. There is a very famous photograph of Stephen Hawking where he is playing chess, sitting in his wheelchair with his son. Of course, Stephen Hawking never played professional chess. He was always interested in the game. Heisenberg, Teller, then Bragg, Schrodinger. These are all people who have played chess at least as a hobby, maybe more than a hobby at different times. The famous remark with which I will end this particular question is Richard Feynman. Now, Richard Feynman has been a great person for me because I have learned a lot of physics by reading the Feynman lectures on physics. So he once said famously that the gods are playing a great game of chess. So he considered nature and the world as a game of chess. And we as scientists are merely observers, and we are trying to figure out what the rules of the game are.
Good point. Excellent, sir. Sir, I'm already a big fan of Penman, but after reading this, I'm become a bigger fan. Amazing. I was not knowing this. Thank you, sir. Sir, my next question is, are there any top-rated player or Indian players who are part of AIWCF?
You know, if it comes to professional chess, then it's a very difficult for you to find time and manage correspondence chess along with that. But still, there are a number of players who have done so, and I will mention at least four prominent correspondence chess players. Grandmaster Shashikiran is top foremost. He's playing a lot actively as of today on ICCF, and we hope that he will be able to make he's already he was long back a GM in over the board chess, but he is not yet a grandmaster in correspondence chess. So we are all waiting and hoping that he is able to do that. Grandmaster Ramesh, who is also a top coach, many of you know him, dabbled in correspondence chess. He, in fact, played in our correspondence chess championship, the Indian championship also at one point. These two players they come to mind among many. Sethu Raman and Arghyadeep Das, both of them are very strong over-the-board players. They are using correspondence chess as a kind of a tool for experimentation and playing the game which they would like to try, but wouldn't be able to do that on a serious over-the-board game. So they would like to have good match conditions and try out different openings and experiment on different ideas, both in terms of playing style as well as in terms of openings. These are two players which come to mind immediately. In addition, if you look at people who are our members, then R.B. Ramesh is there for a long time. There's Nitopal Das, there's Shashikiran, of course, I mentioned him. Koneru Hampi is there. Then Sethu Raman and Arghyadeep Das, I have mentioned. There's Deep Sengupta, Sandipan Chanda, Abhijit Gupta, Padmini Raut, and a number of other players who are our members. Arghyadeep Das and Shashikaran, their activities I mentioned already. And so, yes, we do have a number of prominent players from over the board side also who are playing correspondence chess.
Very good to know, sir. A lot of top players are part of AIWCF. Thank you, sir. So next I want to know, are there any AIWCF tournaments with prizes?
Yes, in fact, we do offer prizes for the championships. So when you are playing for some time and you have reached high enough in the rating, you can actually join in the AIWCF championship. It is held approximately once a year. A new championship starts even when the previous championship has not yet got completed. However, you can join, and there we are offering attractive prizes to the three top positions. So the top three, first, second, and third, they are given prizes. Om Prakash, Tanmay Srinath, and Anirudh Datta Gupta were the three prize winners of the recently concluded AICCF 18th championship, which is called 1518. The next championship, 1519, is drawing to a close. It will end very shortly. And then 1520, the one which is subsequent to that, is also going on. And if you want more information about the championships, then you can read it from our bulletin. I have provided the link for you on the screen here.
Sir, one more thing I want to know. can we play as part of AIWCF any international tournaments also?
So I think when you join, it's better that you play first with a few players and get your feel and understand your rhythm and see where you are placed. However, there are two ways that you can play against overseas player. First of all, AIWCF itself has opened only very fairly recently. Our membership has been open to overseas players. So a number of overseas players have joined the Indian Federation chess website, and they play on our server. So without any specific action on your part, you may be paired to play against an overseas player. The second way that you could play with an overseas player through AIWCF is to participate in a match against another country. So we organize periodically, we organize matches against other countries. Presently, 2 or 3 such matches are currently going on, and applications are invited for 2 or 3 other friendly international matches, which are currently there, where we are going to form the team and then start playing. So once you join AIWCF, you can play against overseas players who are already our members, and you can also play team matches against other countries. And this international matches would be free of cost on ICCF server. So the international matches on ICCF, they are all with payment, whereas in AIWCF, there is no payment required at all after joining. So these friendly international matches are played on ICCF server, but they are free of cost.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, it means that if someone joins AIWCF, they will really love to see that it's free of cost. They can play international matches, either team matches or international tournaments. That's good. I'm sure, sir, many people will want to explore, play a lot of games. Is there any limit that being part of AIWCF, they can play only certain number of matches or tournaments in a year?
Once you join AIWCF, there are no additional fees for playing in tournaments. So once you paid your fees for either for a lifetime or for a 2-year period, whichever you have selected, then you can just join and you can play a large number of tournaments. There's no restriction. However, the restriction is actually self-imposed. If you try to take on too many tournaments, then you will find that there is too much of time pressure for you to manage so many games. So whereas AIWCF on its officially doesn't forbid you from joining a large number of tournaments, you can join as many as you want. But you should decide how many tournaments you can manage. So I would suggest you join initially only 1 or 2, see how you are doing, and then you can decide how many tournaments. If you are relatively free and you are enjoying it, you can definitely join a large number of tournaments, depending upon how much time and how much free time you have got. You should be aware that correspondence chess requires a lot of time and energy. So to find even a single move on the board is one thing, and to find it on a correspondence chess board is another thing altogether. So there are instances of people who typically played. Now, Paul Keres is a famous example. So he was a very strong grandmaster. Some of you, I think many of you would have heard of. So he, during his peak years, when he used to play as a grandmaster, he used to play professionally. He kept his correspondence chess alive, and he played at any given point. He had 50 correspondence chess games running in parallel with his over-the-board activities. So as I said, it's up to you. You can manage 50 correspondence games, or you can play in one tournament with about 6 games. So it's finally your decision.
Okay, so 50 games in parallel, amazing. Sir, my next question is there any placeholder or any kind of documentation or magazine where people get all detailed information about AIWCF and everything about it?
So right from the beginning, when our federation started, we realized that it's very important to have good documentation of our activities. So we started publishing. In the initial days, it was a print medium. But today you can see even those scanned copies, which we are maintaining. And we are meant to, as of now, we publish our bulletins on the server. So we have our server-based bulletins. It's also published as PDF for those of you who want to read it offline. So if you would like to have a look at our bulletins, they are open access. That means our bulletins are not restricted to members only. Most of the federations that I know of, they circulate their bulletins. First of all, very few federations nowadays have their bulletin because it takes a lot of time and effort to manage that. So they skip that. But those who do, they restrict their readership to members only. We do not do that. We feel that the material we are presenting it should be available to everybody who would like to read. So our bulletins are having public access. I have given you the link here. So when you open that link, part of the page is also shown on the slide. And from here, you can navigate and you can either download the PDF or you can go to the web page directly. All the games which are played, which are published in these bulletins, they can be played over on a live chess screen directly from the web page itself.
Oh,
So
awesome.
if you would like to look at the quality of the games which are played, if you would like to know about what kind of tournaments are going on, what are our activities, then this is the place where you can have a look. Of course, it's designed for members, not for the people who are not members, except for information purpose. So, but still, it will give you a good idea about how you can go about looking at what you will be part of once you join. So once you join, then you are part of and you are also able to contribute articles to these bulletins as they are published. That is, if you decide to join. The other thing is, if you would like to know more about how correspondence chess, the mechanics of it, that is what you will have to do in order to play the move, how the move will come, how do you make the move on the server. So these things are explained in the guide. So our guide is also online and it's available to public, doesn't require membership. So if you would like to look at it, the link is given here on this slide. You can have a look at the guide. The guide is also clickable through the main website, so you can read the guide whenever you would like, and that will give you an idea about how correspondence chess is played on a server.
Very well, Nishant. And the next question I was about to ask whether members can contribute to guide, and you already answered. That's great. Thank you.
Yes, we do hope that we will have, we have a number of members who are very prolific in writing. We do hope that you will develop also writing skills and an interest in chess history, in chess folklore, and in correspondence chess in particular. And writing is another art form. It's something which you can cultivate and you can become interested in. You can publish interesting games, either played by you or played by others. So there are so many avenues where we even have contributors who are not members of AIWCF who can contribute. So, it's another thing which is very good for you in terms of learning chess is to write articles. So thank you for that.
Very interesting, sir. Just last two final questions, sir. If somebody want to join AIWCF, how a person can join AIWCF?
So our process of joining is fairly simple. You have to go to our website. In the website, there is a link which says join now. You can either go to that link directly or you can click join now from our main page. Then you will be led on to this page, which you see here, which is an application form. So all you have to do is to fill up your details on the application form. And having done that, the next step would be to complete the payment. The fees are 735 rupees if you would like to join only for 2 years. Recommended is to join for life so as to avoid the hassle of renewing your membership periodically. If you would like to do that, then the fees requirement is rupees 1850. It gives you membership for a lifetime.
It's quite low,
The
sir. It's very low, sir. Very low if I compare.
Well, thing is that we are a non-profit organization. This I should have mentioned to you from the start, that we are not here to make a profit, and neither do we have people. All our office bearers who are working, including myself. This is not. This is entirely voluntary. So we are not trying to reimburse anybody or to collect the money and use it for purpose. The only reason that we take any money at all compared to having it is free is to because we have to run our server and that requires some fees. So our job is this, and also we have to pay a certain amount of fees to keep our affiliation to ICCF. It's not really much in terms for ICCF nowadays, but we do require some payments to be made to ICCF periodically. So we have to cover that. So apart from that, we don't try to make any kind of profit. And we also distribute prizes for the championships. So that's why we can keep our membership fees low. The way to pay is the nowadays, this is the best method which you can see in every street corner where you have the UPI through your Google Pay. Just point your phone on this UPI payment QR code or type the code directly. I have given you the UPI ID here. The old-fashioned way of paying through NEFT or IMPS through your bank is also available. You're welcome to use that. So either way, the steps are: first, go to the website, fill up this form. Having filled up this form, next step will be for you to make the payment. You don't have to wait for our reply after having filled up the form, although an automated reply will reach you. But in the meantime, you can complete the payment. As soon as you have completed both these steps, you will receive personal email from us, and we will guide you through the rest of the process. We will send you the complete instructions about how not only your login, password, and ID, but also the instructions how to proceed with registering for an event. These are explained in detail in our initial email to you. And we remain with you for your questions available. See, unlike other people who go in for only automated answers, no personal contact, we are not at all like that. So if you join us, you can expect us to talk to you even on phone if you have the time. But more than that, questions and queries on email are more than welcome. And so if you face any initial period of hesitancy, where you are not sure how you will go about playing, we are available to you for that.
I'm sure after all this information, many people will have clarity and know they will want to join AIWCF. Thank you, sir. And sir, the last question, today's generation, sir, many people like to discuss, interact, put their ideas. Is there any forum on AIWCF where people can discuss their ideas, discuss their problems or suggestions?
So, as I mentioned to you already, that when you have doubts, you can ask us directly. But the thing is that it's much easier if you put your question on a forum. So we have a WhatsApp group for this purpose. Here, the advantage is that it's not only me who will reply to you, but all the other members who have gone through different experiences. They can closely relate and talk to you and explain. So for this purpose, we have a WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group is for members. So you get access to the WhatsApp group after you join. Once you are in the WhatsApp group, you can have a discussion on our WhatsApp chat covering all aspects of chess. It doesn't have to be correspondence chess only. We can have discussion about everything, particularly now the World Championship match is currently in progress. A lot of our discussions are in that area. But in addition, if you have questions and if you need advice about the international tournaments, also how you can earn titles, you can become international master, a senior international master, or a grandmaster in ICCF. About ICCF, probably we need another video which we will make up soon so as to give you full information about ICCF. We will do that separately. But in this discussion forum, how you can advance your correspondence activities, how you can reach different goals, these things are continuously covered here. Also, any question about rules or specifics about anything which you face difficulties, then suggestions, where you can have suggestions to improve our interface. They are more than welcome. We implement changes on our interface immediately if it is voted good by all our players. We don't wait. Other players, other sites, including ICCF, will wait for one complete year and then scheduled changes. Not so for us. We will implement the change if it is implementable fast. We will implement it immediately. If it's requiring a lot of programming work, then it will take a little bit of time. But we vote on it, discuss it out with our players, and reach a consensus, and then we just go ahead. And also true, you may have questions about rules. The rules are, correspondence chess has rules related basically to the timekeeping and other such efforts. Not of course, the rules of chess itself, they are fundamental in nature. But if you have questions about playing rules related to correspondence chess, and then again, this is the place where you can discuss. Then we have our Facebook. We have an active Facebook page. So it's called AIWCF Chess. This is run by our long-standing member, Gautam De. And he will help you and answer. Also, other people will answer your questions if they are posed here on the Facebook page. This is also quite an active Facebook group. So through this, WhatsApp is our main link line. So it's a little bit faster for you to put up your question there. But you are welcome to be on Facebook also with us.
Superb, sir. And one thing really I liked when you said lastly that when people say some ideas or some implementation, we do change fastly, very quickly. So I'm getting a feeling like the way we describe democracy, right? Of the people, by the people, for the people. I also can say the AWS is like for the people, by the people, and it's like exactly like it's for the people who they want something, and we will implement if required.
Yes, Rakesh. In fact, to stress that, we always want participation, and that participation is, and we are not, autocratic. There are many changes on the server which personally I wasn't in favor of, but they were suggested by our players, and they felt happy that we implemented them always, because it depends upon the players' wishes. They come first. So if it's possible for us to do and it's not going to upset anything major for us, we are happy to make those changes for the players' benefit. Yes, Rakesh, because it's actually a club. It's run like a club. So it's something for you. We are not trying to run it as an organization in a formal way. That it's an organization you join and then you play with our rules and conditions. We are rather making it like a family. Sometimes we call it an AIWCF family, because we become friends. We talk. I think the number of conversations between our players on their personal WhatsApp far exceeds any other contact form. So players they become friendly, and when we talk on the phone also, I think typical conversations last for hours. So we discuss a world championship game over the phone, So there are people whose love for chess is what bonds us together. It's a love for chess. Correspondence chess is a part of that. But chess in general, something which people are so fond of, that the bond and the link which we get, I think that's what I would like to emphasize here.
That's the best part. Thank you so much, sir, to take your time out and answer and give a lot of valuable information. I'm sure a lot of students and all viewers will really get benefit by this. So I want to personally thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakesh. We hope to have more videos soon. So keep watching and don't forget to press the bell icon and stay subscribed to our channel. Thank you, everybody. We will have many more videos, I hope, with your participation. So, as if you are a member and you're watching, please tell me what you would like to do and participate in upcoming videos. And thank you all again, once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.